Staying up late for us this evening is the man who has brought the trumpet of Patriots to the Australian political sphere, none other than the great Clive Palmer. Lovely to see you, mate. Canberra, what a fun time of year this is as they piddle our money up against the wall.
Well, you're right, Paul, and we should talk about solutions. I think we've got solutions for the problems you mentioned, especially the $1 trillion of debt. We can deal with that very effectively. You know, China's become a major manufacturing superpower, conquering export markets in Europe, the United States, everywhere else, on the back of Australian iron ore. 90% of exports of imports of China's iron ore comes from the Pilbara. All we need to do is put a 15% licence fee on that, and that money can pay off the debt for us. We'd much rather have them do it than have the taxpayers do it. So that's an easy fix. We did it in the 1960s. We had a licence fee on our iron ore. We can do it again. Why shouldn't we participate in the supply chain, so why shouldn't we do that? Every other country in the world's done that. If you go to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and every other predominant country which has virtually got a monopoly in minerals takes that advantage for their people, but our politicians are too weak to do it. Yeah. So that solves the debt crisis for you in one slice.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a barbecue that doesn't get everyone's head nodding when we say, geez, we all pay too much tax. Gross income tax, again, from those that pay as you go. This year, $310 billion. Next year, $327 billion. The next year, $346 billion. The year after that, $368 billion. Now, okay, tax cuts here, major... How do we change this system where the single greatest source of revenue for the federal government is the man, woman and child that is out and about doing their bit for 40 hours a week?
Well, it shouldn't be. It should be shared fairly across the community and across corporate taxation, and multinationals dealing in our country should pay a fair part of the burden. So it's just a question of us being realistically restoring what the tax should be in this country. But if we are smart, use our assets correctly, we don't need as much tax. We don't need to expand the budget the way we have. We don't need as many public servants, as Jane said. I mean, there wouldn't be one public servant in Australia that knows his life couldn't be more productive. He couldn't be doing more, he wouldn't be better appreciated if we reformed the public service. We certainly need to do that. If you look what Elon Musk's done in the United States, he's found $5 trillion of the US budget, and he wants to return $8,000 to each American citizen because they've been getting ripped off for years and years by the bureaucracy. You know, we've got $5 trillion worth of super, but you see Kevin Rudd and the Prime Minister going to Washington and say, oh, invest in the United States. And yet the Australian government gives people a concession tax to put their money into super. You think what would go with that, some of that should be vested in Australia to develop our resources rather than have our capital coming from the United States and from China when we're the second biggest super tranche in the world. I mean, that will create jobs, industry, growth and exports. And instead of exporting, say, iron ore at $100 a tonne, you can export steel at $2,000 a tonne. That'll fix our balance of payments. I mean, none of these people have got any experience in business, international trade. I mean, I've got $23 billion in assets. That's my life's work. I don't think Elbow's got that. We've got over $3 billion of exports every year. We've made that happen. There's nobody in Treasury that's done that. It's not these sort of public service policies. 99% of Liberal and Labor policies are the same. Why? Because they come from the one source, the bureaucracy. They don't come from individuals. We haven't got our best people making our policies. And our people deserve that. We've got 3.7 million households in Australia that go to bed hungry. We can solve the housing crisis by having a fast train 120 kilometres outside of Sydney or the capital cities like they do in Tokyo and Yokohama, and develop some of our cheaper land and be 20-minute commute to the city. We can have the deposit for our homes from our super, and we can cap interest rates at 3% like they do for Fannie Mac and Fannie Mae in the United States. The government can use that strength to help its people. Australians should come first, not the government.
Well, and I've got to say, I heard you give a speech and I've heard you give interviews, and I love that one of the things you relentlessly bring up is the number of people that are going hungry. As you know, that number, 3.7 million people, food banks the source, right? Not some
households.
Yeah, these are households, so it gets even more. It's more than people, isn't it? Yeah, it's the number of households that don't know where their food comes from this week. You're the only person with access to a microphone and a camera who brings this up. Tonight was an opportunity for the federal government to say, this is not on, we will change it, but it's you and I talking way after the rest of them are off, to sink tins at the pub.
Well, it's $200 million to fix the problem, to feed hungry Australians. Yet the Australian government, Albanese, gives $1 million a year to Food Bank. And those people work hard with getting food out to hungry Australians. And we don't want Labor, Liberal, Greens, whoever they are as Australians, we don't want them and their children not being able to eat in our country. How bad's politics got in this country if we can't protect our own citizens and feed the people that live here? It's a disgrace. And why is it happening? Because of higher interest rates. And that's why it's happening. But we said before the last election what was going to happen, and it's happened. But now we've got to have compassion for the people. You imagine your children, Paul, going to bed hungry at night. And of course, a lot of the children are not. The parents are the ones that are giving up their food for the children, having one meal a day. They're struggling to keep their houses. We've got increased immigration that's coming in. The banks are taking people's houses. And we've got 120,000 homeless Australians in this country. And all we need to do is use our resources correctly and turn it around. It's our party that is the alternative government that's got the alternative policies. It's not the Liberal and Labor uniparty, which get the same policy ideas from the same bureaucrats every year. The budget has the same headings every year. It's just upped and changed and manipulated. We need massive changes across the board, and we need to have it. I've laid that out in the press club pretty clearly what needs to be done. And I've got no personal interest in this. I'm 71 years old. You know, I had a successful business life, but I can help this country and I want to see us prosper. I'm an Australian. I'm living here. My children are living here. I want a better country.
Last question. Let me get in before inevitably everyone on breakfast television does it, and that's what becomes the news today. How do you feel about $5 that'll come your way, because every taxpayer is going to get it? How do you feel, and what's your message to the Prime Minister and Treasurer about $5? What will you be doing with your extra $5 a week?
I just say he's a Scrooge, you know. $5 to solve Australia's problems to every citizen's a bloody insult. He should stick it up his khyber. That's what I say with his $5. What a ridiculous situation to say, here's $5, your power bill's going up $1,000. You're losing your home, but here's $5. Everything will be right. Vote for the Labor Party or vote for the Liberal Party. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Everything that Labor said they'll do, what does Peter Dutton said? We'll match it. That means he thinks it's a good idea. He should be saying, that's a crazy idea. We're not going to match it. We've got a better idea. He doesn't say that. He just says, we'll match it. We'll match it. I don't want a Labor government. I don't want a Liberal government. I want an Australian government fighting for the people.
All right, and the Trumpeter Patriots is the party that you will have on the battlefield in 150 seats and all the Senates and all the rest of it. Thank you, Clive. Do appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, mate.